What's up, everybody? This is TeknoBlast with the realest and six layer. And today is a special day because we're coming live from San Francisco, baby. What's up?
Well, you
I
are.
am
What up?
2 and 3 hours ahead of you guys. You can't see crap though.
No,
It's
you're
too bright.
behind.
No, you're behind.
There you go. I'm behind. Yeah, I'm behind.
I'm in the future with
Yeah.
with realist here.
Let's see. Let me see if I can sit down really nice here and get the nice back. There it goes. So I get dark, so you can't deal with the bright lights. Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to turn up the camera. I'll just sit down. But let me get myself.
Well, better you on
situated.
camera than me.
I tried with the camera, man. I tried. It just wasn't working. I mean, it's too bright first, and I get all dark and you can't see me. And I don't think you guys want to see a building's roof. Yeah. And so, okay, let's just go right at it, man. So I've been in San Francisco since Monday evening or so. I'm here for work. I'm here for a conference, so it's not like I'm really working, but that's what I'm here for, to learn new stuff, new technologies on big data. And it's been a great experience in trying to learn this new platform that I'm not used to. I'm barely being exposed to it, so it's cool. But I'm staying in the Hampton Inn, and I guess I'm like the bad part of San Francisco because, well, I mean, I guess all of San Francisco is bad. You know, when it comes to homeless people and just people shitting all over the place and pissing all over the place. Doesn't matter where you are, man. I'm not even kidding. On the way back up to the hotel, just this lady is like, she's like bent over, and they're all bent over because they must have been on something. And then all of a sudden, you see this gush of water just come out of her ass. Right,
Bro.
Man, I bet Plenty likes that story.
Punchy. Yes.
Oh, don't get punty started, yo.
Oh yeah. And so there's been a lot of that going on this week as I'm walking around trying to find something to eat, or even just go to a local bar here and hang out for a little bit. As you walk around, you're not going to avoid homeless people. They're everywhere.
You're downtown, right?
Huh? Yeah, I'm downtown.
Yeah, homeless people love downtown of major
Yeah.
cities, especially.
Yeah. So if you ever come here and you're like, oh my God, there's so many homeless people. It's just the way it is here. They don't do anything about it, man. And so
Well, what are they gonna do? I mean, there's not enough room in jail. They don't have a place to help rehabilitate them. Dude, I went to Venice when I went to LA, bro. I went to Venice, and like that's like the homeless mecca. Like we drove by. I took my daughter by Skid Row because she asked about it. She saw it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, the homeless situation, like the people with the money, they come here, right? They come to Texas. They take over New Mexico. They take over Nevada. The homeless people without the money to move, they sit there and go homeless.
Listen, man, the homeless situation is all over the place. Even in New York, I was in New York over the weekend, right? It's my girl and stuff, which I'll bring up later on when we talk about the ally section, I guess, right? Like, yo, I was, we were traveling on the subway to get to various places across the city. Yo, it doesn't go by where I take a subway ride and I see at least one homeless person sleeping right there in the station or in one of the cars that's moving, right? Sometimes you're waiting on a train, right? And it's going to be fairly packed, and all of a sudden you see a car that's open. Even before you see it, you already know it's because there's a homeless person sleeping on one of them that smells so bad that it stinks up the whole car and nobody's in it, even on a busy train that could have used that car to hold people, right?
Yeah.
Like you already know before you see it because you're that used to it. Like it's all the time, bro. It's all the time. It's like, I used to joke, like, I miss New York a lot, right? Even though I live in Pennsylvania now. And it's like, anytime I don't drive there and I take a bus or whatever, like I'll transfer directly from the bus station to the subway, right? To get around the city, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I get to the subway, I smell that urine.
Oh, yeah. You get that little whiff because the gust of wind just blew it all over your face.
And I'm like, I'm home. God damn it.
Bro, that's like the worst smell ever.
It is.
I don't know how long you have to go without a shower, or like if that's some type of infection. Like back when I was younger, right? I used to drive the bus, and you cannot refuse rides. This is a little known fact, right? It's paid for by taxpayer dollars, so you're not supposed to refuse rides. And I used to drive the trolley. You're from Houston, so I used to drive the trolley,
Yes.
and so the trolley is only downtown, and it was mainly supposed to be for like all the businesses, for all the people who had their little
Yeah.
lofts,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to get around, or they get dropped off to go eat lunch, things like that. But they wouldn't even get on because you'd have this person that would get on that smells like years worth of no showers or baths, and it's like
Yeah,
the
like
worst.
caked
It's the
on.
worst smell. Yeah, but I don't know, man. It's to the point where it smells sick. Like
It
it'll make
smells
you
Yeah.
sick.
sour.
Yeah.
It smells sour.
Yeah,
Like there's
and
an illness involved, right? It's not just
Yeah, the
even
whole
if you hose them down with a bunch of bleach and whatnot, like that's not gonna kill that smell because it's something that's festering or something. Ugh.
Yeah.
so
I
that's
mean,
what I'm thinking.
as I'm walking around here, it's just, you have to feel sorry for them at some level
Yeah, you do.
because
Yeah.
I walk by them and I'm not kidding. Like either they took so much crap in their life that they're just walking zombies now, right? They're walking zombies, blurting out these words and these phrases, not cuss words or anything. They're just blurting out stuff that doesn't make sense,
random.
right?
Nope.
And
Well,
they're just stumbling around, like no sense of direction whatsoever. They're
Like
just
zombies, like The
yeah,
Walking Dead
they're
or
zombies.
something.
yeah, but
Yeah,
like that's what I learned when I was on Venice, right? The majority of the people there have some type of psychological disorder, and
yeah,
their families are not equipped to either financially or emotionally to take care of them.
yeah,
And so you got this huge population of people who are literally crazy or insane, and nobody's there to help them or restrain them. This is why I always tell people, like, just keep walking, because you can say no, you don't have a dollar, and they can get in your face.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
That happened to me one
You
time at
know
the
what it
pump.
is? Wow. Oh, I'm sorry, realist. I didn't know you were gonna.
No,
tell
I was just gonna say no. That happened to me at the pump one time. Like, that's it. I was gonna say he tried to give me a hug at the end of our interaction. I said no, thank you.
Yeah,
The
and
dude
you're a
smells
nice
so
giving
bad.
guy. Yeah, and you're a nice giving guy. Like you've told me situation that you've been in, and you have a caring soul, let's say, and if you've helped out, right? And so, yeah, geez, like you want to help, but then there's that, and you want to hug me. No,
Yeah.
it's okay. But you know what it is like, though? I was gonna say, like, there's many medical professionals in my family, like nurses and stuff, right? The PA. My nephew's a doctor. I'm very proud to say, right? And I've asked them about this, and even my nephew, who's only been a doctor a couple years now, right? And even like my sister-in-law, she's been a nurse for a very long time. Like even the Olsen twins, she was one of the nurses at the show who looked after them for a little while there. She did that for about 3 months and stuff. So she's in her mid-50 now. She's been a nurse for about 40 years plus, right? So no, I'm sorry, 30 years plus. And I've asked them and all these people in my family, and it's like they're desensitized to it, but not that they don't care, but it doesn't shock them anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's like to you, or you go to a hospital very rarely, even if it's not for yourself, right? And you see all these other people in there in way worse situations than you. You might have just like broke your finger or your stomach's not feeling good and you just get yourself checked out. And meanwhile, there's people wailing in rooms or just people, who's got masks on or, breathing under machine assistance or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Who knows what you'll see back there, right? And the ER or whatever, right? But like the staff there are desensitized to it. So like you'll go there and you'll be, shocked to see those things.
Like,
and you'll remember it. It'll stay with you for a while, right? But to them, it's Tuesday, right?
Just another
Wednesday is
day.
going to be the same. So it's not that they don't care. Indeed, they do. That's why a lot of people, do that job. Like they talk about the money and blah, blah, blah. And that's a bragging right. But everybody knows the work, that goes with it. It's a lot of time and effort, and you have to give a crap. And usually these people give a crap to even be in the medical field, right? So to see all of that and just, and keep it pushing like it's nothing, right? That's something that you acquire just from doing it for a certain amount of time, and they just don't phase you anymore, and you just keep going. And even my nephew, who's only recently become a doctor, right? He said it was the same like that, and that's what they told him was going to happen. Like, you just see it all after a while, and it don't phase you. Even if you see anything new or like a new level, even that doesn't phase you, right? Like, you'll see something worse one day, and but you gotta just keep doing what you're doing. So it's like the homeless, right? Like, you see it. I see in the subway all the time. It's like very rare. I take a subway trip and I don't see a homeless person, well, at least once. But I just keep pushing, man. When they, walking through asking for money, I don't even react to it as if they're there. And it sounds like I'm cold or whatever, but I've given money to like realists, and then they want to hug, and then when they get too close, and they won't leave you alone. Like, and it's better off that you just don't.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, because I didn't want to keep going, but that dude, he was upset. He walked up to me talking about like politics, and they're taking the guns. He was angry, bro. I'm like, yo, stop,
bro. You shouldn't have guns.
Yeah. So I was walking to the conference center one of these mornings, and there was a guy I was approaching. He was just standing there, like either talking to himself or just looking around. And as I get closer, he started singing, right? And he just kept looking at me, and I kept looking at him. And then finally he said, you got some spare change or something. I said, I got nothing. It's like, hey, man, you trying to sing to me or what? You trying to serenade me or what? He just started laughing. And then I came back around. I was trying to come back to the hotel, same path. He was there again. He's like, hey, man, you got some change? Like, man, you tried to sing to me earlier today. I ain't got no money for you. so we, I left that guy alone and just kept going. But since I was here this week, I was trying to go to a Giants game, but unfortunately, they're not here in town. They're out somewhere. But I end up going to an A's game, right? So it's A's versus Yankees.
I know they lost. I know the Yankees lost. The Yankees been losing a lot of games lately. I think they
went
most recently.
So I went Tuesday. I went Tuesday night because that was the only night I know I was free to just go on my own and do something, because Wednesday they had plans for me already. And then Thursday was a day game, so I wouldn't be able to go to that one. And so Tuesday I went, and then I kind of scoped out, how do I get to the ballpark? Because it's on the other side of the bay, right? It's in Oakland, not San Francisco. And so, some people are giving me tips. Let's just take the train. It'll take you straight over there. I figured out which train. I got my pass and everything. But just because I wasn't familiar, not that I was in panic mode, but I just kind of like jumped in the first train that got there. I ended up being on the wrong train, right? So I end up seeing more of Oakland than I wanted to, right? Because I kept going north instead of turning on the bridge and going to right with the right train. So I just kept going north, and I'm like, crap, I'm on the wrong one, right? And so I finally got to a transfer station, and jumped on the other side and was able to get to the ballpark. Now, if you've never been to Oakland and you've never been to the Coliseum, the place is like set up in the middle of, let's just say, the Ship Channel in Houston, right? Nothing but junk, nothing but industrial stuff, abandoned buildings. I mean, just a big
like Chernobyl.
Yeah, just like Chernobyl. You have this baseball field, and it's Chernobyl surrounding it, right?
Wow.
And then the ballpark itself is no glamorous thing. It is a shithole, right? It's falling apart. It stinks, right? It's just nasty, right? And so,
but isn't Oakland a crap hole though?
Huh?
Yo, how did we end up here?
I was just telling our random thoughts. What a way to gaming podcast. But isn't Oakland just a?
We lost
your body real heavy, bro. Your body real heavy. You probably hear us real clear too.
Yeah, he probably does hear us, and we can't hear him. But so you get off the train, and it takes you directly to the ballpark, right? Because it's the train, and you got to cross this bridge to the ballpark, right? And the bridge is just straight into the ballpark, so you can't get lost. And but it's a bridge, and it has the gates around it, like that kind of curves over because they don't want anybody to jump off it, right? And then as I'm going in, the ticket lady was like, "I don't think I can let you in," and I'm like, "Why not?" Because you're an Astros fan. And I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "Well, that's not my fault. You guys suck." It's like, what's it got to do with me, right? And so she messed with me for a little bit, and she let me in and everything. And I got there, and sure enough, man, the hallway where the concession stand is at is it's not your typical big corridor. You know, it's old school, small, so everybody's like bumping into each other and everything. They don't even have fountain soda drinks. Everything's bottled, right? I usually get a big fountain, the biggest one you can get and nachos, right? And so I got that, ate a little bit there. Well, it was time for me to go to the restaurant.
You got, I gotta interrupt you. I gotta say this one, right?
Yeah.
Yo, it sounds like you got barbecue bacon cheeseburger, hot fries, right? Orange soda with no ice, and a hot slice of hot apple pie. You know what that sounds like? Hot ass breath in the middle of summer. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. And so it was time for me to go to the restroom, right? And so, I'm just expecting a restroom to be a restroom, right?
Oh.
At a ballpark. I walk in, and the thing that stands out, like right there when you walk in, is a urine trough. Not a urinal, but a trough. So all the dudes are just like,
is it at least metal?
I don't know. I didn't use it. I wasn't gonna use it. And so you see all these dudes just lined up, leaning over, like, right? And I'm like, oh man, the last time I seen one of these things was back in the early 2000s at a Mexican nightclub.
That reminds me of seeing out of Schindler's List. God damn, that is not good.
So it was nasty, man. It was gross. And then overall, I had fun at the game. Right, there were some fans that were giving me crap, but I gave crap back at them, and it was a fun game.
Oh, you were
the
one
Yankees
of those
lost.
guys. You rip your colors, even though the fuck, bro.
Yeah. And then I was cheering on the A's because I wanted them to beat the Yankees, and they did 2-1. It was a great game. It was actually a good game. Just a ballpark. Oh, the turnout was awful. The turnout is awful, and it was all Yankees fans too, and even one of the ladies I was talking to that was being cool with me, she goes, "This is probably the last dive bar stadium you'll ever go to."
Yo, that's messed up, yo. Like, even Yankees fans are supporting more than your Oakland fans don't even care.
Oh, there were tons of Yankee fans. Yeah, there were tons.
But yeah, that's why everybody left Oakland, right? Golden State Warriors are basically the San Francisco Warriors. The Raiders are now in Vegas because that's what I said. I'm asking. Because I've never been to Oakland. Isn't Oakland just a crap hole city, period? Not just this.
It is. I did not see, on the train ride, I did not see any nice part of Oakland at all. But I'm on the train, so I was like, I'm limited on what I get to see, I wasn't going to get off and just wander around. I'm going back to San Francisco. But I had a good time. I did have a good time anyways at the ball game. It was a good baseball game. It was intense just because how close the game was, and it was against the Yankees. So everybody, the few A's fans that were there, they were really into it. So it was good. It was good. I liked it.
The deflation of the traveling Yankee fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so, but enough of my trip. That was the end of it. Now, the conference continued on until today, and now it's over. So I'm ready to go back home tomorrow evening. I won't get home till midnight because my flight's at 5:00, and with the time difference and everything, so I'm be home late.
Nice. You don't have to be there till late, and it's not a long flight either.
Yeah. And so, all right. So here's the part where I'm gonna depend on you guys. What's going on with Xbox, with Activision, Sony, and Jim crying, lying, Ryan doing what he does best? Ben, not even. I did see that he didn't show up for for the hearing? Is that the thing too?
That's right.
Yeah, video disposition.
Yep.
So that has to weigh a lot though during these things, right? I mean, it should.
If I were the judge, it would.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like any old person that has a court proceeding and they don't show up, that's a big thing when you don't show up to your court date, you know?
Yeah.
I can only imagine this is a big deal. This is about a merger. This is about acquisition. And then one guy that's all against it doesn't even bother to show up.
Yeah, and all they have to convince is the judge. So there's no kind of like theatrics they could do to wow a jury, right? And maybe turn some people who might be thinking one way or the other, right? Like this judge is pretty much on point, keeping both of them to staff. Like, of course, Xbox fans and frankly, gaming in general, I ain't going front, but there's some pony butts, Dustin out there, still doing a little mess here and there, real key. You feel me? But generally, the gaming world in general seems to have of one mind about what's really going on, right? And they see like the judge is like calling out a lot of the place, and putting a kibosh to a lot of when the FTC is trying to start up some mess, and say something and try to lead the situation. But it's not just against the FTC though; like they're doing it against Microsoft as well. Like he's quite fair and logical and sensible and remembers things and contradictions. You ain't gonna get a contradiction past her easily, right?
But with the way things are going, how do you see things leaning towards?
I mean, the universal, there are some people, who are sitting there worried about it, and I'm not gonna sit there and pretend like I still don't think, I'm gonna wake up one day and it'll be like when the CMA blocked it, right? Like we had the podcast the night before I went to bed, and, I put on YouTube while I'm getting dressed and stuff. And then I see what's his name from the UK is doing that live stream.
Yeah.
The CMA blocked it, right? So, who knows if I wake up the day, it's supposed to be announced and boom, they blocked it or whatever. And I'm like, God damn it, right? So, but generally, I feel like, it's going through. The judge ain't falling for BS, bro. And she calls out, contradictions and mentions other things they said before, and is anticipating some of it too, like calling it out before it happens for them not to say certain things, to not go down the train of thought, or even if they do, like hold that for later when we discuss this other thing. We'll get to that now, but for now, stay in this box here because we're talking about this angle now, right? Like she compartmentalizes everything, and she's real, like a good judge. She's actually analyzing the situation as it's being, explained to her. But it seems to me the last thing I want to say about this, right, is that it seems less about the FTC, right, trying to convince the judge as to why they should block this, right? This is more like Microsoft's lawyers representing Microsoft and, and Activision and their lawyers, for the deal, right? Versus Sony's lawyers, who seem to be personified by the FTC. That seems to be the way the FTC is talking. They're not talking from the position of the FTC, and they're trying to, block big mergers, which is not their job either, by the way, right? But like, they're acting like these are Sony's defense lawyers, and this is like Sony versus Microsoft, and the FTC had nothing to do with this. That's how the FTC are acting as lawyers. That's just what I think. And thus far, it seems like this is going to pass for Microsoft. Like the judge ain't falling for the BS at all, bro.
So what's this deal with Canada? Like at the last minute, it's like, oh, by the way, we want to block it too.
Lena Khan called in a favor.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing about it though. They said they were gonna, but the date already passed. Microsoft's immediate response was like, "But yeah, the date already passed and you didn't do it." So, basically,
yeah.
I mean, it's just like they just want to throw their little name in the hat, right? They want
to act like they're doing something right? too. Yeah,
because you even had New Zealand try to say that they had an issue, right? But the problem with the FTC is that they have to reduce this case to being a United States only thing, right? You can't approach it the way it really is, which is a worldwide issue. So first off, they need to make Microsoft and Sony equal. So when it comes to the United States, they compete closely here. But in the rest of the world, They don't. So the FTC has to successfully convince the judge to ignore the rest of the world and only focus on the United States. Don't focus on on Xbox's worldwide presence or lack
Yeah.
thereof. Just focus on United States. They have to achieve that. I don't think that they've done a good job with that. They have to also convince the judge that Nintendo is not a competitor. I don't think
Yeah.
that they've done that. So they also had to convince the judge that cloud was bigger than what it really was. That it's bigger than 1% of the total gaming hours spent when it comes to gaming. There's no way to make that make sense. So they're doing their job. Lena Khan sent them out to fail. Lena Khan did not set them up for success.
Nope.
And that's why they look so bad. Like, because I was with everybody else, I was like, man, these people are idiots. No, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for these people. Like, if they could somehow get this preliminary injunction, that could spell a promotion for them in the future.
Yeah.
So they're going to show up, but they took a flat out loser to try to make their name. And I feel I'm almost embarrassed for them. Ever see somebody do something stupid and you're embarrassed too? Like,
Yeah.
that's how I feel. That's how I feel for these lawyers, because they took something that they know that they can't make stick, and then the number one opposer, basically Google opposes, but they're no longer
real quick,
they're no longer in gaming.
I have a question I want to ask you, because you just
Go
said
ahead.
that, and I'm at so they see an opportunity, but unless you can win the opportunity, what good is the opportunity you can't win? Like, it's a shot in the dark. Where was their play? They had no tactic or play to even try to. They just did the Sony rhetoric that they should have known wasn't going to win. I don't get that, though.
Rule number one is you have to show up.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're gonna show up. They're gonna try.
I don't think.
Well, they're there. They're trying. Right. That's rule number one. If you don't show up, you lost. Right.
They're trying.
There's no question. There's no question. It's over. Right.
Yeah.
If you don't show up. So, but like, PlayStation is the main, really, to me, the lone opposition to the deal, because Google is no longer a player when it comes to gaming. They've shut down their studios. They shut down their platform. Now they're trying to use YouTube. That, like, the day after they went on trial, it leaks out that they're trying to get back into gaming through YouTube somehow. And I don't know why they're there complaining. Nvidia had testimony, and like, it did nothing for their case, because Nvidia is now in favor of the deal, and Bobby Kotick says that he was never going to put those games on there unless Microsoft buys the company.
Yeah,
they
were never going to do it on their own. Yeah,
there's I don't understand, but like I said, stranger things have happened, and we could wake up on the 5th or 6th and see that Judge Corley found that they made one of their points, because they only need to make one of the points. But I don't think they've done an adequate job in making any of these stick. Unless the judge somehow sees things their way and ignores the entirety of Microsoft's business outside of the United States.
And that doesn't seem to be the way she's acting at all.
Right, and that's why when Elizabeth, I forgot her name, Harry, I don't know. She was the economist, pretty much the star of the show as far as I'm concerned. Elizabeth something, but this is why she kept using the word nexus. She kept using the global, because this is not just the United States issue. If you stop Microsoft from competing with this deal, then you basically stop Microsoft and Xbox from competing on a worldwide scale, and they are a worldwide business. And Sony has
Dr. Bailey,
monopolies in other countries.
Dr. Bailey.
Bailey. So
thanks a lot, Shangy.
So you're stopping them from being able to compete in other areas outside the United States, because they're not just a United States-based company. And they also have clearance from all other countries, except for now Canada, right? And CMA and FTC.
Not technically, because they didn't. Because basically what they said was, we would have did it, but they didn't, because their time already expired, so they can't.
Well, the thing is
they would have, and they didn't.
Their opposition, their outspoken opposition means something. I'll just put it like that. Okay. Now, how much weight Judge Corley puts into it, that's a totally different thing. If I was a judge, it would count for nothing because I've heard all the facts and whatever. And I hate because people from other countries feel like we're arrogant when we say this, but Canada marches to the United States drum when it comes to these things.
Yeah, they don't really matter, so it doesn't matter what they think. They do what we say anyway.
I'm not gonna say that as impassioned, right? I'm gonna say that as pertains to the UK, as the UK, because the UK represents 5%, like 5 billion in total revenue in the gaming sector, and they think that they can make a blanket block over cloud. So that's I'm interested to see, but we gotta wait a few days to find out, what's gonna happen with this. But
if it is today the last day,
I believe so.
Yeah, today's.
I didn't really listen to today because yesterday almost bored me to sleep. Like it was not exciting.
Today was more exciting. Today was
probably yesterday because I listened to it and I was like, oh man, screw that, I'm done, I'm out. But if Microsoft should have done a good enough job. They have in my eyes. If I was a judge, I mean, the fact that you're dealing with a whole group of people who don't know anything about gaming is a problem. Because they should know that Sony has been living on exclusives. Sony had no studios when they got into gaming, and they've been doing nothing but buy off third-party developers. Mm-hmm. Microsoft had to pay them 80% of the revenue split because of their market position. That enough shows me that they're not really competing enough to even have the respect of certain publishers. Because if Activision is doing things like that, guess what Rockstar is looking at?
Yep, they did it before. So, Grand Theft Auto 3, I believe, came out the same day as the Xbox itself. I think that was the same day. You know what I'm saying? And were both equal releases, right? Grand Theft Auto 3, what that did for PlayStation in and of itself, those aren't remembered as Xbox games or PC games, even though they came to those platforms. Those are remembered as PS2 games, right?
PlayStation had exclusivity though,
right? But that was, that was the type of thing where even when a developer chose to make a game, they just made it for PlayStation and didn't think about the other platforms till later. Right? But how did they really get that position in the first place? We know through their history what they did to Sega, for example, right? And what they tried to do in Microsoft, and it almost won at. We know how they got there to leverage a situation of plausible deniability like that. But you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. Stuff, man. But the thing is, the damage is done. Yes. And this is even though Microsoft's buying Activision. They're gonna have to work hard to show people that Call of Duty, the home of Call of Duty, is not PlayStation anymore. Especially with all these parity clauses that they're offering up. I wouldn't have gone as far as to offer complete feature parity, right? I would offer performance parity, but not feature parity. PlayStation gave their gamers XP advantages, incentivized them to not play with other platforms, although crossplay was enabled. All right, they got extra XP for playing with people on PlayStation Plus. So why would you want to participate in crossplay at that point? I think that Microsoft should have pushed a little bit harder for the property that they're spending $70 billion on, but I understand that they want to get it through at all costs. So if Call of Duty is the price to pay for what a lot of people
because I still don't like the fact that
they fucking believe what they're saying. Sorry. And that King is what they're really interested in. Yeah. I told you, I want to start speaking louder, bro. Look. No, but people are starting to actually believe that King is the real prize for them. So let them give up Call of Duty. Okay, I'm done.
Go for it, Realize. It's all you.
No, it's on me. Now it's on Sick.
No.
I'm sorry. That's right. I'm sorry.
Saying I agree. That was it. But whatever.
Because man, I was about to finish saying that last part.
Yeah.
You let me go, and then you cut me off at the end. But y'all go ahead, man.
Like, I'll sit back. Go ahead and talk. I'll sit back. I'm not gonna say anything.
No, no, but like, no. If people really believe that, and they start to buy into that, then let them give up everything they need to give up when it comes to Call of Duty. And I noticed that they're very apprehensive about answering about Diablo, because I know that guy. He really wants Diablo on PlayStation 7. You know, so like maybe they'll give it to him. Yeah. And Overwatch, who's playing Overwatch? Like Jim Ryan is really digging deep, and he didn't have the nuts to show up and take the stand. So, as far as I'm concerned, I would just omit his entire testimony because it's useless, worthless, and contradictory. Because the thing that really
oh, you gonna yell at him now?
Because look, right when I'm wrapping up, y'all keep doing it. Okay, no, because the thing that really told it off for Jim Ryan for me is when he was asked what would he do if he was in the same position as Microsoft, and he refused to answer.
But what gets me is like this guy was jet setting all over the world, talking to regulators, to block deals and crying about it and everything at the very beginning. And then when it's time to show up at a court proceeding, just in the United States, this guy is missing. And now he's doing Zoom calls. He's doing Zoom calls or something, whatever he's doing with the judge. If I was a judge, I'd be like, you're not even here. It's like, why are you on this television? You know, the guy on the television. You remember on the Dark Knight? Dark Knight Run. So who's the guy? Who's the guy on the television? It's like, why?
The Asian guy with the money. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why? It's like, dude, it's like, if you're not bothering to show up at court as something as important as this big deal that you're trying to block, you're the only one that's pretty much just crying about it, you need to get your ass over here. But, you know, I'm not a judge, so I don't know what the rules are when it comes to all that.
You know why, though, right? Because then he would have to testify to certain things I don't think he wants to testify to, right? So, yeah, he did it that way.
Then a Zoom call, I wouldn't even allow a Zoom call. I'd be like, no.
It wasn't live. It wasn't live. It was pre-recorded.
Oh, damn. So I was right.
It was a tape. It was a tape, yeah, basically.
So I was right the other day. I think we were making fun of it the other day. And somebody said, oh, you know, he's going to do a Zoom call. And I responded, I think it was J-Rock. J-Rock said something in the post, and I responded, it's like, I bet you anything is pre-recorded.
Yeah, it was. Literally was.
My God. Okay, that's even more funny.
Really, I'm not wrong, right? It was pre-recorded, right? Like, double check here, right? Right?
That's correct.
That is
that's correct.
Yep.
That is
but if he, I don't know if you got, well, you don't watch, Sick you do. So like everybody that takes a stand, except for like Satya Nadella, because it was pretty clear that he was going to defer everything to Phil, who already took the stand and gave his promise with his right hand that he was going to continue to bring Call of Duty to PlayStation. So they were pretty much done with him. Like, he didn't really give him anything. If Jim Ryan had been there, he would have been cross-examined. His underarms would have started itching. His neck would have got hot, and he started twitching and giving tails. And those are the things that he didn't want any parts of. He didn't want to have to answer questions on top of the questions and be asked the same question to see if he gets tripped up. He dodged it. But see, for something that is so important to them, where they cannot function without, he didn't show up. But then again, he probably also thought about, they have my email. My email where I say that we're going to be better than fine. The email where it says that this is not about exclusivity. This is bigger than exclusivity for them, and they have the money to make it happen. Right?
Yeah.
They had access to that. He didn't want to have to answer questions about these things. That's why he didn't show up. And all of these things the judge should take into account, man. If like this would be the most shocked that I've ever been as it pertains to any type of decision, like score or any game or anything, if this is not passed by the judge.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully. Oh, but the one thing I was saying I agree, I guess I may as well expand upon that a little bit, and is to say that the fact that they have to give up Call of Duty, even that, to me, I still feel like that's an L. Like, if it was Sony, they wouldn't have given up nothing to prove nothing. They just would have bought it and been done. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't even mean the FTC wouldn't have gotten involved or not. I'm not even saying that. Like, I don't know, right? Examine either rendition of that universe in your mind if you want, right? But like, they wouldn't have had to give up nothing. Microsoft is giving up Call of Duty. Not even, and remember what I've explained this before, like, publishers want money for having their games on your cloud platform. Even if you're not selling the game yourself, like with NVIDIA, right? With GeForce Now, or contrast to Google where they did, and you got your cut of the game because they're selling the game for you, right? And they just get a cut. You'll get most of the money, right? They were getting that traditional maybe 30% or whatever, right? So they're getting their money, but they wanted extra money for even the access for their service to have their games on the cloud. I've seen it all over the place. Like, a lot of times that doesn't happen. So Microsoft gave up a lot of, well, not money now, maybe in the future if cloud stuff works out, but even the contracts and the deals would have made, for some good pocket change that could be used into other things, right? It's probably not a lot, but who knows, right? To get those rights in play from now, because that's what Sony would have did, and then had all types of exclusivity clauses and stuff from the giddy up, even before it was really viable to be used by the public, right? Have those locked up. That's what Sony would have did. Microsoft had to give up all of that with Call of Duty, right? And I don't think I've never liked that. That's never sit right with me. It's still not fair. You get me? But it is what it is.
Sick. They have to validate their claims, right?
Right.
And they say that Call of Duty is not the reason. So go butcher it, right? Split it up however you want to, because that's not what's important to us. And so you got these regulators, you got Sony. Let's put them to the test. Now, what I wanted to talk about was how Jim Ryan is approaching Phil Spencer like he's a straight up biatch in that email. Yeah, but because I don't know if you saw it, but man, it's ridiculous. Like the demands that this dude has, the unmitigated gall, the audacity.
Oh, the gall
to ask in return for his investment of $0 into 70 billion. But yeah, they have to let them do whatever they want to do with Call of Duty, And another thing when it comes to cloud, like kind of that's really what I want to follow up on with you, Sick. Like these people have to pay the publishers to put games on their platform.
Yeah,
that was the problem that Google was having with Stadia, right? The only real supporter that they had was Ubisoft. Like,
yes,
they got a couple of EA games, but they were in a position where they had to pay these developers to port. You're not supposed to have to pay for the privilege of selling, unless it's not a privilege, and it's obvious that it wasn't, because Google was able to give everybody's money back without batting an eye. So obviously it wasn't that successful.
yeah,
but it wasn't that successful. I mean, because I think that like if they had made 10 billion, they wouldn't have given all that crap back. They even gave me money back for my my Chromecast and my controller that I still have. I mean, but it's inoperable, but still. But they say that they're going to unlock the controller.
Ubisoft games on your Uplay account.
Well, I never subscribed to that because I bought all of Ubisoft's
not
games.
Uplay, the service.
You mean the service, right?
Ubisoft, no, not the service. Just the Ubisoft account. So like when how like EA used to have Origin, now it's something EA Play. There's GOG, there's Epic. Everybody has their store. Well, there's one for Ubisoft. It's called Uplay. Oh no! Now it's called Ubisoft Connect now, right? It's their app on PC. And when you bought Ubisoft games from Stadia, you also got it in that account for the PC version. So even if Stadia is gone now, if you bought any Ubisoft games, you still have access to the PC versions of all those games because they're in your Uplay account.
I've had a Uplay account since like Origins, like
Right.
Assassin's Creed Origins. So like, I mean, they give you free stuff like armor, weapons when you buy
That's
the
the
game
one.
and use the account. So I've already had that. But like, yeah, Ubisoft. But if you, I don't like. I'm a Ubisoft fan. I hear a lot of people complaining about Ubisoft. I like Ubisoft's games. I like the Far Cry formula, the Assassin's Creed formula, whatever. I like it.
Yeah.
And they're about to come. They're about to come with it, right? Because if you're gonna charge me $18 a month, like EA, and that's another thing. Game Pass. People complain about Game Pass raising the price, and the service is still not more than PlayStation Plus, Ubisoft Plus, or EA Plus.
Nope.
Because those came out of the gate at $18 a month, whereas Game Pass came out at 15 with a dollar Dorito can offers, or what is it? What's the one that comes out of the can? Pringles can offers.
Pringles, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't understand the complaints when it comes to that. And these now EA does decently. I mean, I don't know if it's worth. Yeah, it's worth $90 because you can prepay it. You can prepay it. Just like PlayStations. It's like $100 a year for EA Plus, because I almost did it because I was like, man, I can play Super Mega Baseball 4 and Jedi Survivor. But it's like, man, I just wait till Jedi Survivor is $20 and buy it.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Sure. Oh, excuse me.
Man, go get some water.
I'm sure my son's finished Survivor already since I've been gone. Yeah, he's been liking that game. He's like, Daddy, you need to play this game. It's like, I ain't got time to play right now. I got to go to San Francisco. Here I am.
So, you haven't played the game at all?
Huh?
You haven't played the game at all? Like
nope.
Jedi Survivor? Okay.
So, yeah, I wanted to talk about some ally-related stuff that's been happening.
What you got, man? What you got? Tell me.
So, 3 things. Number one,
but first, for the new viewers here, we're coming from you live. Well, I am, at least, from San Francisco, California. Woo! It's nice and sunny here. At least today it is. Yeah, the last 2 days was awful, but it's nice and chilly. It's better than 100-degree weather down in Texas. Screw that.
107, I heard. Who
I'd rather be over
was that
here.
You, realist?
I'd rather be here in the 60 degrees, man. It's nice.
I think it was you who told me it was like 107.
That's what the thermometer the thermometer says, but that's just like real feel. It's probably like 98. It's hot as fuck. It's hot as hell. I'll tell you that. And the problem here is the humidity. Like, sweat is supposed to cool you off, and eventually you're supposed to stop sweating. But humidity doesn't allow your body's cutoff response to happen, so you just sweat. And that's why a lot of people have these strokes. They're dehydrated because they never stop sweating. You have to constantly hydrate yourself in this humidity. Yeah. And like even at 90, even at 85, 87, it's a problem.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It is not a game.
There you go. That's our weather report from the realist from Houston, Texas. There you go.
that's your weather report. I just.
So, what do you think about the weather down there, realist? Well, let me tell you, it's
hotter than a mother. I'll tell you this: it's hotter than a son of a bitch. I'll tell you that. I'll be that ghetto news reporter with the speaking all television ready, and then that fly goes in my mouth. This motherfucker.
Nah.
Hey, that dude does the weather in Houston. I know everybody saw the guy. He was like, and yes, there was a couple here, and this motherfucker went in my mouth.
Oh yeah. I've seen it.
His name is Isaiah something. So like, yeah, he does the weather here. It was so funny when I saw him. I had to show my granny the viral video where he went crazy because the bug went in his mouth.
So,
saying, so Tech, you pretty much coming to us from Mexico? No, maybe Canada, closer to Canada.
Yeah, closer to Canada, actually.
Yeah, but
yeah,
whenever I go to Mexico again, I'll do one from over there, and I'll be eating some taco. Like, what's up, man? Live from Mexico. Yum, 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 yum. Yep. So, all right, tell us about your ROG.
So, there are a couple of things happened. So today, like a couple hours ago, Asus released a statement. It was on Discord. I don't know why they're not on Twitter, right? You know, for the word to really get out, but it was on Discord. I'd seen it on the Discord that I'm following, where they examined, you know, a lot of things that people were talking about. So first off, like the firmware, there's, you know, the comparison between the current one 3.19 versus the 3.17. It was a lot of claims that if you go to that one, the performance was better. Like there was a downgrade performance with the most current firmware. But Asus is saying they're testing it, and no, and they have the numbers to back it up. And you go on their Discord and you'll find it. Secondly, the haptic, not the analog sticks and the drift situation that people are talking. Not the drift, the dead zone situation. Now that's a continuing thing with these analog sticks, especially, I don't know, it seems from Asus is saying, I don't want to paraphrase, but I can't remember exactly what they said, so I'm going off memory here. But basically, like, there's a number of combinations of things that could affect your dead zones. It could be, you know, people went to the software and tweaked it and fiddled with it, or like they held it in direction when they turned it on, all types of things. So if they have issues, to contact Asus and they'll work with them to try to figure it out. You know, things like that. You know, I've seen people return their systems complaining about things on Facebook, right? And then like the whole community is like, dude, do this one thing. Like, why don't you ask the community first before you just go and take it back, right? So a lot of people are claiming they sent it back, not having done their due diligence. And there's a lot of talk about that. So I guess Asus, you know, some leg to stand on that thing. And also with the sticks, I've seen a video where somebody put some Hall effect sticks in the ROG Ally, you know, those magnetic ones, you know, where they don't drift, and that's working out. He's just waiting a couple of things, and he thinks that'll be real prevalent real soon. It's real easy to get in there and do it yourself. That's a real, you know, learner thing that somebody could, you know, pop the system open and replace the sticks and have those Hall effects. So, and the last thing I wanted to talk about today was, and this is a funny thing that happened to me. So, like I said earlier, I went to New York.
Speak on it, shit.
So I bought the chart. So I thought I brought the charger with me, but I didn't, right? And I thought I left it at her place, and I'm not going to be there till like next weekend. So on the way up, I ordered the charger dock, right? I figured if I'm just going to get a charger, as far as I know, only the Asus official charger really gives you that turbo mode with other situations going on. It's not too clear right now. So I didn't want to get an alternate like dock or something. I wanted the official one. And even though this one doesn't have Ethernet, that's a big knock against it. Otherwise, it's a great little device. I like the way it works. A lot of people don't like the form factor because it's like a wall wart. But, you know, if you have one of these modern computer tables where they have their little outlet right there at the top, I mean, and that's the way they demonstrate it when you see it in pictures. So basically, it looks like, you know, like an AC charger, you know, for USB, whatever, right? And it has the one line that can go, and they give you a nice 6-foot braided USB-C cable, real high quality, right? You know, to connect between the wall wart or the dock, whatever you want to call it, right? Into the system, and then you have to supply your own HDMI cable. And for $68 after taxes and all that, I would have thought maybe they'll add the HDMI. But okay, fine. It doesn't really require, you know, a high-end cable to work to get you to 1080p 120 or 4K 60, right? Like a regular ass HDMI will work just fine, right? So, I mean, it works. As soon as I plugged it in, good to go with no drivers, nothing crazy or nothing like that. And it's basically just a regular USB expansion dock. It'll work on anything. And it gives you one USB 2. I wish it was USB 3. That's the other knock I have about it. But it works real nice. And so now I've got my capture card. I've got the dock. It works with the capture card that I have, but I'm planning to get a new one that does 1080p 120 for $70. It's just like a little, it looks like a USB stick where it has the HDMI in on one side and the USB on the other, where you just plug right into your PC. So it almost like functionally is like a, you know, like converter that you just put on the end of HDMI and turn it into USB to plug into your computer. You could think of it that way. It basically does that. So I'll start having some footage of the system, and I plan to do some videos, maybe some live how-tos or whatever, where I showed how to do basic things that a lot of people. And this is not going to be like 101. Like, you should know how to use Windows and basic stuff. Like, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty off top. So
yeah, you'd be surprised people don't know.
So right. But, I'll always mention, the commands I press. Like I've described, how to use computers to the people who have no idea. So I'm familiar with how to speak to people in that regard. So it won't be complicated, but I'm not going to sit there and explain to you how to use a mouse. You better, know the basics of Windows, and I'm gonna, I'll just mention some things, some ways that people can configure their systems, some alternate ways that even I don't like for myself, but other people might. So I plan to do all types of things like that, and little how-tos and stuff. And but yeah, and lastly, I just found a case that might be potentially really good. I'm gonna explore that, but Doc Dart, he did a video yesterday. Today, he did his 14th video. He's deciding he's keeping his system, but on his 13th video, he showed a case it's made for the Steam Deck, but it's looking real nice. It's from Spiegel. It's really large and heavy, and it can hold the system and a
from Spiegel.
Yeah, from Spiegel. It could hold
Spiegel.
Yes, Spiegel.
No, yeah,
yes,
they make good cases.
Different company. Yes, very good case. Large, tough case. It could hold the system. Plus, it's a compartment for the charger, and in the top, he even showed he could put his whole Nintendo Switch in there. Now, he wouldn't leave it in there because it would just jumble around, but it shows you how much room is in there, and even though it was made for the Steam Deck. So if you're impatient, you can get that one, because I'm sure they're going to modify that one, and have a version for the ROG Ally, and that'll be the... At this point, that will be the case to get. I haven't seen anything that even comes close to it. Like, basically, you strap your system in, and then you can flip it up to put the charger in. There's a nice little magnetic lid, where you could tuck away the charger, because the charger is pretty large too, so it'll fit in there real nice. And then you got the upper area where there's the mesh, where, like I said, there was enough. And he demonstrates this in the video. Realist, I sent you the video right at the beginning where he talks about the case, so you don't even have to you fast forward that, it's right there. But there's enough room in the top. Like he demonstrated, he put a Nintendo Switch in there, so you could put all your little accessories or whatever, dongles, whatever else you got, cables, whatever. There's lots of room for that in that case, and it has a little spot for a hook or whatever. Thus far, that's the case to get. But that's what I got to say about the ROG Ally for now. But some more things coming in the future.
That's all I got to say about that.
So sick. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Who makes the triggers on the ROG Ally?
Who makes the triggers?
Right.
I have no idea. Oh, you mean
because you brought
the sticks? Oh, you mean
the triggers? I said triggers.
I don't know anything about
who makes it. Right. Okay. Now, because a lot of people don't know this. Now, I think it was an interesting design choice, because I had to correct one of these guys that you guys think they're so great. They are great, but they don't have all the answers. Now, those are Hall triggers. Now,
yes.
So you put the left stick, you get the Hall effects add-on, and you can rig it up. I don't know if that was Fox or somebody who showed you to get the Steam Deck version from Gully Kid or whatever. Oh no, I fix it. But the reason why, and there's really no fixing it. Like he went into it and he got it close, but the magnets interact with each other. That's the issue. Now, honestly, I would rather that they go get some other triggers, and then we can get Hall effect sticks with no issues, and not having to spend hours trying to configure to the dead zone on the Hall effect, because I didn't have any issues. I mean, yes, I did. It was kind of weird because there was a little pinhole to do it in the Steam Deck. You had to get like a little a SIM card ejection tool, put it in that little bitty hole, and then turn around while you're holding the stick and get the stick to 0 on the calibration. But that's why the Hall effects don't go 0. Now, I don't know about the rest of these suckers who are taking their ROG Ally back, but I love my ROG Ally. I'm having fun playing games. Like, it looks so much better than my Steam Deck. Like, just a little. It's just like the OLED really does make you feel like you got a new console until you start playing at 14 FPS, right? Because the on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like it really does look that much better being on an OLED. Like the finer where you now, if you would have glasses, it might be a challenge for you. But like the smaller, like it seems like, I know you guys know what it looks like to like have things at high resolution. It looks like there's just so much that fits on the screen, and it looks so much better because it's not as blown out and pixelated. But
Yeah.
I have no issues with it. I've never had an issue with Windows. I think that a lot of people that complain, they are Steam Deck fans because, like,
Yes.
what are your or Linux fans? Like, what are you complaining about? You know what Windows is doing, and then they told you it was full fat Windows, which I'm not in support of, but I knew what I was getting into. I can play
Yes.
all of my launchers, bro. I got GOG, I got Game Pass, I got Epic, and Epic gives me the best games outside of Game Pass. Like
For
I'm playing
free.
Tiny
All the
Tina's
time.
Wonderlands, and I didn't pay for it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I could not play that on Steam, and Steam always had that game on sale. But I just like, man, I got it for free already in the Epic store.
Yep.
Grand Theft Auto was free, right? All these games that I got, like even Vampire, I'm playing all these games. I couldn't do that on the Steam Deck. Like I had to double dip. I double dipped on a few games when it came to the Steam Deck. I didn't like. I don't like that. I don't like that. So I don't understand like
Unknowingly
people's.
did it.
Well, I knew I did it because like Psychonauts, I knew that was in Game Pass, bro. But I really wanted to play it while I'm on the road. Like, but now I don't have to because I figured
Your body
offline mode working. Like, I don't have any issues with it. Like,
yeah, me too.
the only thing is, I thought that it would. I thought it would perform a whole lot better than it does. But
Yes.
it still performs well enough. I thought, because like I'm playing Cyberpunk and I'm playing Fallout 3. Now Fallout 3, you can ultra that out. It's old as hell. But Cyberpunk, I have to run it at low settings to get to 60. Low settings FSR, and then I hit 60. And it is averaging around 55, which still feels good.
Yeah.
With the VR.
Occasional screen tearing. I don't see it, but I do notice the screen tearing that I get
Okay.
every now and then. Yeah, it does have some screen tearing, and it's like at weird spots. It's like when you're walking in the city and you just look around, you can see it happen rarely. But I'm not like the rest of these weirdos. It's so immersion breaking, dude. I know that I'm in the real. I know that I'm in the real world at all times. I'm never so immersed to where I forgot where I really am. But yeah, but even in VR, I know that if I walk over too far, I'm gonna kick something, or I'm gonna snatch my computer. Yeah, so I don't understand these guys' complaints, but I do wish that those controllers had a lot more tension than they do. They're too soft, in my opinion. But I feel like everything can be adjusted to. But every other controller that I have has some tension, and that's the one thing that I don't understand why. And if they were gonna use Hall, why not use them for the triggers? I mean, the sticks opposed to the triggers.
Right. Well, I see why they did the triggers instead of the sticks. Because like last year,
I like the triggers though.
Right. Because the Xbox, that's what they chose to do when it comes to that Rumble thing. They put into the trigger. They put the work into the triggers before the sticks. So they had the sticks right. See, like your problem with the looseness of the analogs is something I got used to because it's just a different system. And I feel, and this is my opinion of what your issue is, you're used to the way the Xbox is, and even the PlayStation, it's more tight on those two. I really rarely touch the Switch to really tell you.
Switch controller is like the little ones.
Okay, is the Switch controller like the
Joy-Cons of what I'm talking about?
Well, like I said, I rarely touch the Switch to know what a Joy-Con feels like. But I'm gonna give you something you can tell me if it's a good comparison. Like those, phone controllers, like that analog stick they seem to use for a lot of these devices. That same one. I hear they use it a lot on that's the same one they use in the Switch.
You know what I'm talking about? Everybody uses the same company for their base model controllers. I forgot the name. I forgot the name of the company. Whereas like Immersion is the company responsible for the haptics, and the PlayStation and the Switch. They're responsible for the locking triggers on the PlayStation, but the triggers all come from the same company. I forgot the name of the company though. and except for when it comes to Elite, and I don't know, I don't care about the Pro controller for the what is it called, the
Yeah.
PlayStation 5. So I don't know who makes their Pro controller, but I'm pretty sure the Pro Nintendo controller is the same as the Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah. So I think it's just the tightness. I got used to it. It's looser by default, right? That's just the way it is. Like it flops around more. Pause. I don't know how else to say it, right? So I think he should try to crank up the settings and let VR handle it, because he should not be seeing any tearing. But maybe it was just like I don't know. That shouldn't have happened. But yeah, Wilkin. No, I'm answering what Wilkin was saying there. But yeah, I agree a lot of things you were saying just there. Like, for example, like I double dipped on games I didn't realize this before the Steam Deck was out. Like there's games that I bought on Steam instead of buying them even on Xbox, because number one, I didn't know they would play anywhere, right? And like I always said, like the Steam Deck, I always bought the Steam versions of multiplat, especially if they're cross-player or cross-multiplayer and whatnot on PC, to have that like forever platform. It didn't matter where on PC Evolve, I could always have access to them. But now I realize there's games like Streets of Rage 4, Mortal Kombat X. Those games were play anywhere. I should have bought the Xbox versions of those instead of buying them on Steam. Now I own them on Steam and I have no use for them. Like now I have to double dip again, right? Like the ROG Ally made it so that I'm more in the Xbox ecosystem. I'm less attached to Steam, right? I still don't like using Epic other than to use their free games. I'm never buying from them because I'm not with what they tried to do, right? But I didn't have a problem with all the other launches because they weren't up to those same shenanigans what Epic was. But now I'm less attached to Steam. In fact, I'm more attached to the Xbox ecosystem on PC now, right? And I'm starting to understand now what people have issues with the Xbox app. It's not like it doesn't work, right? Because I have never seen any specifics. People just complain about that app, but it never crashes or malfunctions for me. It's just poorly designed, I would feel. It barely has controller support. It's that same interface you see when you do the xCloud, right? Where it's like the web, basically a website, and you can just like you could toggle the highlighter with your directional pad, and you could select with the button. That's basically what it is. That's like as basic as it gets. Like they really need to update that app, but I'm more willing to be in that ecosystem, particularly if they're play anywhere, right? Where I can have the console version and then have the PC version where with the ROG Ally, it could be on the go or a laptop or whatever, right? Or a higher end PC when the console generation is long in the tooth, right? And then I'm more predominantly on PC at the end of a generation, right? That's what I usually end up doing, right? Because there'll be multiple. Like I want that Xbox ecosystem now. Now I'm less of Steam. I'm more of Xbox because of the ROG Ally. I want that, particularly if it's play anywhere. If it's not, then I guess I'll mess with Steam unless there's particular reasons, right? And what Armory Crate saves in terms of an interface, yeah, it works just fine. It works just fine. That's like the central hub. I don't use Steam as the central hub too much. I use Armory Crate, but there's a great app you could use that's called Play Nite, NITE. It's free. It works real great. Even if you just want to use a launcher for your PC, just in general, great app. But yeah, how I buy games in the ecosystem I'm attached to is less attached to anything specific as well as it used to be because of the ROG Ally. It really changed that mindset for me. The ROG Ally really is hitting more than the Steam Deck did for me. And the Steam Deck really it opened my eyes to more options than I ever realized I had, even more so now. And the last thing to talk about what really said about Windows is a lot of these people, man, if they're not Steam Deck, they're pro Steam Deck, they're anti-Microsoft, they're pro Linux, there's some flavor of hater, right?
Yeah.
By default. So they're not looking at it objectively, right? There's some shade, some flavor of hater by default. So they're already with the bullshit.
I don't like it.
Right. And so all this, like Windows is Windows, but a lot of these people are exaggerating. When they're talking about the base install of Windows, like I noticed that all these quote unquote apps that they claim is install the Windows that they have to, no, they're all stubs. All that stuff for Office and all that, those are just icons. They're not even installed. If you notice, when you click on them the first time, it has to sit there and download off of the store because it's not on the system yet. Like, just erase like you do uninstall and it happens like that because all it's doing is erasing the icon. There was almost nothing on that Windows install, actually. There wasn't no McAfee, or there was a link somewhere in one of the Asus apps to get, I think, McAfee or something like that, right? There was nothing really on there at all. There was the Asus apps, right? Armory Crate, the AMD drivers were there, and that was it. And Steam, I think, was already on there. Like, it didn't have to install it, although, by the time you first run it, it's going to update anyway, like it's doing an install from online. So, like, the Windows install was pretty damn clean. I don't know what people are talking about. There's nothing to take out of there. There's no bloat. There's really not. I just don't know what these people are talking about. It's not a console interface, but there's another thing I've seen where there's this app called Handheld Companion. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. It has two features. One is an auto TDP, where it raises and lowers the TDP of the system based on the performance of the game. So it will reduce the TDP if you're playing a game that doesn't
what?
Horsepower TDP, right?
Basically power draw.
Right, the power draw, right? So it's not wasting your battery, so your battery life can last longer. The second feature it does. So let's say you don't want to use Armory Crate as your main interface. You want to use the Steam Big Picture mode, right? I'm just getting off of that where I'm starting to feel less attached to anything particular. But okay, like a week ago, I was still ensconced in that, right? So okay, let's say you want that. Well, there's an option in that. I think the Fox was showing it, or Retro Game Core, I think it was, right? Where basically it does something in Windows where when you boot up, right? Oh, and by the way, the system boots up lightning quick. Maybe it's not as fast as a Switch, like when you put the system to sleep, but you can put the system to sleep in the middle of a game. It will have to reboot entirely if you let it sleep for long enough. But or you can hit the button and it will wake, just like a laptop. Like, so all this talk about about sleep is bullshit, and hibernate, it works, right? By the way, but what was I saying about with Handheld Companion, the other feature that it has is, so not only does it do the auto TDP, it does a thing where, and they're still working on it, so it's not 100% just yet, but basically and EmuDeck has this as well. On the Windows version, it's upcoming with this, where basically it's going to be like, if you remember back in the day when Windows ran on top of DOS, right? So you could exit Windows and be back in DOS. So imagine, like in the Steam interface on the Steam Deck, you just get the Steam interface. Like the Windows part of their Linux isn't there at all, unless you go in the menu and ask the system to reboot back into their Linux interface that's basically like Windows, right? KDE Plasma, they call it on Linux, right? It's basically Windows, right? But on the Steam Deck, if you're in the game interface, well, that whole Windows thing isn't running. Well, now they have an option for that on Windows, on the ROG Ally, where it boots right into the big picture mode of Steam, and in the background, Windows isn't even really running. The desktop and all that stuff isn't there at all. It's just Steam running on the core of Windows enough to get to apps to run, but without the desktop and all that other stuff. And then when you exit Steam, then it continues to boot up into Windows proper. So if you really want a console type of interface, there's options to get that to happen where it's really console-like, and all the nature of Windows is really hidden because the desktop isn't even really running. So there's Handheld Companions is looking to add this, as well as EmuDeck for Windows. The both of them are still working on those features. But the auto TDP is also a big deal.
Tech is a tinkerer extraordinaire.
Yes,
but it saves battery life.
All this stuff,
ass.
Yeah, but like battery life is ass would be on the Steam Deck. Like,
yes, for both of them.
I have 3 battery packs and an inverter in my car if I need it.
Wow.
So like, the battery, like, because people bring up the Switch. I don't know what people are getting these. Like, I heard Doc say he got 9 hours on the Switch. I'm like, what the hell are you playing? Because
you saw the video already.
No, I saw like
he's got the brightness all the way down to 0.
I saw like day 7 or something like that. But like, I'm not gonna watch him every day talk about whether or not he's gonna keep his Steam or whatever this ROG Ally on the edge of my seat. I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't give a crap.
I was more interested because he's more of a regular dude, so I want to see what a regular dude
he's a Windows gamer, right? But like,
Barely.
But
okay.
But like he has a PC,
Yes,
so like
yes, he does.
He's used to it. But the thing is, it's like I've always had access to power, like because I knew that the battery wasn't gonna last forever, right? My Switch. If I played Zelda, I'd be lucky to get 2 hours out of Zelda.
Exactly.
Like, it's like it all depends on what type of games you play. So a lot of the Steam Deck apologists, they like to bring up, 3 watts. Like I don't give a shit about 3 watts because I'm not gonna play these games. The main attraction of these $600 and $700 handheld PC consoles was that I was going to be able to play the same games I play at home on the go, and I can emulate on my phone. Like I don't care about emulation on this thing. I just want to play my games. I want to play my games that are in Game Pass. Like Vampire Survivors is probably the most lightweight game that I'm playing.
Me too.
So it's like these power complaints. Like I have the same complaints when it came to Steam Deck because I'm not gonna lower the wattage. I'm gonna go up as high as it can go. I'm gonna put a frame counter in the top right corner, and I'm gonna see what it could do. And I'm gonna play games. Like if you gotta like dumb it down, then you should stop talking crap about the Switch.
Right.
Like if you're gonna cut the wattage all the way down to where you can only run games that can run on the Switch, then what are we doing here? Like, are we just talking for the hell of it?
Yeah.
Because you're basically playing Switch games.
Yeah.
You're basically playing Switch games at this point. If you're gonna lower the wattage down to the TDP down to 3 watts, like I'm not gonna do that. Like if I see 25 when I use like my phone charger, I get disappointed. I want to see 30. Right? So I'm gonna like I normally don't use my chargers. I normally would just buy a charger and keep the OEM charger. So I realized that I can only get 30 using the included charger. They said they were going to work on it because I got a what is a 100-watt charger?
Yeah.
Block, but it still won't work. I have a laptop charger, a HP laptop charger, and it still will only do 25. So
that's why I bought the charger dock. It's the only thing that I know that works 100%. Like there's nothing else that's known.
Yeah, like so,
to get
like
the turbo.
a lot of the objections, people have agendas. Like at the end of the day, I like talking to gamers about things that they like, right? Like if you don't like it, go back to your Steam Deck, go play your 3-watt TDP games and proclaim the Steam Deck is the best handheld PC on the market because it runs Linux. I could care less. But I love my Raw Guy Live. I touched my Steam Deck since. I couldn't wait for it to come in the mail. I love having access to my entire library. GOG sends me emails every month giving me stuff. Now, they have one of the weaker selections. I think Microsoft has the weakest, right? There's so many games that Microsoft is lacking in their storefront.
Yeah.
Like aside from people's complaints, complaints about it working, UWP and all these other things, like there's nothing there to be had. Like there's Forspoken in there, bro. I was like, man, y'all got Forspoken, but y'all don't have these other games.
Yeah.
Like you go into the storefront. You go in the storefront, they'll have Microsoft games, but like I would prefer to buy a Windows because I now have a Windows handheld, and I can play these games anywhere.
Yeah, you'd rather do the same thing I would rather.
Yep, but yeah, I listen to people talk, bro. The dude Gardner Ryan, he turned me off.
Oh, Gardner,
because he said
he's a Linux nut.
But he's an Xbox hater, Microsoft hater too. Like he's fully engaged with trust. He was like, yeah, because Steam has a new program like kind of like Sony's where you can sample games instead of actually play the games. And he was like, well, this is actually productive for developers instead of destructive like Game Pass because they actually get the sale at the end of the demo. Like, man, get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
They got money, but these developers, like, why does it continue to go over people's heads that these developers are getting money to put games in Game Pass? I just don't understand why they can't grasp the concept that these developers are getting paid in a different way.
They don't want to. That's why.
They don't want to.
Whatever. Because let's be honest, bro. Most people on Steam are waiting for sales anyway. I posted a video of.
one thing I want to say real quick. We're talking about Gartner real quick. One last thing. If you notice, they were doing that podcast where it was him, the Fox, Retro Game Core, like the main dudes who's been, in the handheld PC scene for a while, and just these handheld devices. I think the Wolf was there once, right? Nerd Nest, I think was the host, right? So he got all these guys together. I think like once a month or whatever, they want to do a podcast about all these handheld PCs. But Gartner was there for that first episode, and dude, he was his nicest, his fake nicest the whole time. But the comments section lit up, and ever since then he hasn't been on since. And they've had like 3 or 4 episodes. I don't think he's coming back, and it's because everybody can tell he's the nuts guy out of all of them, right? Who follows this stuff. It's just completely nuts. But they still have Gaming on Linux there, who's a step lower than him, but is still kind of nuts too. But at least could be fair, right? Gartner is just a fanatic, bro. It's just like Wilkin is saying. He's a Linux fanatic, and those guys, it's like Sony dudes who talk about Xbox all day. These dudes, they talk about Microsoft all day, and why everything Microsoft does is bad, no matter what logic you bring to them. So all the stuff he was saying about Game Pass you were mentioning, yeah, that's par for the course for folks like him.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked him because like when you get something new, you like to hear people, who like what you like, and I like the Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
But like this dude, I realized that he's a Linux fanatic, and his comment section is filled with Linux fanatics. Bro, I think that was a Sega Forever. I was on a podcast with the dude from Hawaii, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This dude. So anyway,
I saw that one.
We're just talking about there are fans or sects, no matter what you are a consumer of.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I bought my new vacuum, bro, I was so surprised that when I went into the informational video about the vacuum, there were so many Dyson people in there talking about how Dyson was better. I was like, fuck, I'm in for it. Let's go.
Oh man!
For $1,600, Dyson better be the best vacuum on the market. That's all I got to say. That's like dummies on PC Master Race. Your console is, dude. You pay, if you got a good PC, you spend at least $2,000 on that PC to be better than my console. So it better be better.
It better be, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's the point,
like,
though.
yeah, I'm for all of it.
Yeah. Ridiculous, guys. It's just ridiculous. And yeah.
And I can't remember what it was. I was like, dude, they're arguing about this too. It was something so something so small. It's like, dang, man, they'll argue about. Dude, there was this lumberjack in the shorts that I was watching. They're arguing, and then you got lumberjacks in the comment section talking about which axe is better and why his technique is bad. And which technique is better. It's like, bro, I love that stuff, bro. I love to see people enjoying what they like. My only issue with ponies is they hate Xbox more than they love PlayStation. That's my only issue with them. That's my only issue with them. Like, if they would tell me how great the PlayStation was, I would be like, oh, that's cool, man. That's interesting. Let me go see. But they can't. They can never tell you. It's like, man, what is it about PlayStation that you love so much? Xbox got no games.
They themselves to toxic stuff, and the most toxic of them are just really horrible people. Just in general, we start to hear about the behind the scenes about them and stuff they're doing, like really messed up people, bro. It's like, wow, they all seem to be. It's just like, bro, all I can do is shake my head. And it seems to be a mentality because there's people like that on all platforms, but the PlayStation seems to have a lot more.
Bro, I was just gonna say, bro, I see the Rogue Army uprising in these Linux videos too, though.
There's a bunch of allied dudes who go in there and defend, who fight back or whatever. It's stupid. Wars.
I said handheld PC wars. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm just sitting there, man. I'm pointing and laughing because at this rate, I bet you my next system after the Rogue Ally that I'll eBay and then trade up for the next one will probably be the Steam Deck 2 at this rate, because Valve ain't putting on another one for a while. Like, how much longer? I don't know. But if it took only a year for something like the ROG Ally to come out at the price point it did, right, from a complete third party, what could Valve themselves do within another year or year and a half or whenever they put their next system? It's going to be that next step up, right? It's an ever rising step ladder or whatever, and every couple of years I'll just step up to the next one, right? I'll sell the old one on eBay, and I'll just keep moving up. So I'm pretty sure the next one will be the Steam Deck too. But at that point,
I'm not going to buy a Linux only though.
Will be open. Well, right, but
because as long as look, if you're fully invested in Linux and you hate every other launcher that dares to oppose Steam, then you're at home on the Steam Deck.
Yes.
But for me, I don't care. I will go wherever the games are. If Epic is going to give me Starfield, if I didn't have any money and Epic was going to give me Starfield, I'm going to Epic, bro. I think what's that game? The Alan Wake is only going to be in the Epic store.
I think it's a timed exclusive, maybe.
It doesn't matter. If I was a PC guy only, where PC was my main platform, I would buy it in the Epic store. I bought Sifu. You see what I'm saying?
I broke that rule for myself one time with the Crysis Remastered because they had it on sale for like $10. Right?
I mean,
they had finally fixed it. They took out the DRM and they added all the stuff that they took out because it was based on the 360 version.
How can you say no to a deal like that?
All that better, right? And I broke, and then immediately after they had it on Steam, like a week or two after, at the almost the same price, like $20 that I would have had spent for it. So I was like, I should have waited. But I will do whatever. But what I was saying was, I think the Steam Deck 2 by that point, like the Windows support will just be out there, right? And besides, Valve did support it with the Windows drivers pretty quickly. So I'm sure with the
Valve will never support a Windows handheld, bro.
They put their drivers out. That's all I need. Because look at Asus now. We haven't had any real updates, and we're still pretty good where we are right now. We just need some tweaks in armory.
Some fine tuning, unless because I know you guys are into Xbox news. You guys remember where there was this supposed proposal from the Xbox development team or R&D team, where they had a Windows that could work on the Steam Deck. They wanted to get involved with the Steam Deck, and Microsoft said no. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all remember that? But then like 2 weeks later, we hear April Fool's, ROG Ally. No, it's not really April Fool's, right? So I think that Windows really does need to do something that makes a handheld gaming PC more handheld gaming centric, right? Yeah. Make a more lightweight operating system, because it's cool that you can do certain things on the Ally, but you don't need things that don't work, that don't play well with gaming, right? What part does Word play in that? Like Word doesn't need to be there, and I don't know about you, but like all that stuff automatically downloaded once I put my name in there, because we do subscribe to 365 and all that.
Yeah, I got that too. I already just realized, because of that, I got Clipchamp, and I got the Pro version because I'm on 360 because I bought some Asus laptop last year, right? I have that Clipchamp now. That's the editing program. So I put in the ROG Ally because I see everything. You could record your footage. You could do all that on the handheld, bro. Like, people gotta realize it's a PC in your hand, and it's pretty up to date, right? So all that stuff is possible on the go.
Real quick, since I know Tech's ready to go, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk about that letter real quick. Phil Spencer offered the terms, right? You can have Call of Duty, feature parity, day and date release, no difference. And then Jim Ryan's response was, we need all the games on PlayStation, and they can't be in Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, what do you think of that counter, that rebuttal? Like, what do you think about that, Tech?
Yeah, I just laugh at it. How can you dictate what they can do to their own ecosystem?
I think that they were trying to push them. I think they were trying to push them into giving an unfavorable response that they could use that in court right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And I'm going to make Microsoft bite and see what they have to say.
Yeah, because they said that, we want all of Activision's games as they've been historically. Like, so what, dude? Like this dude, he didn't put a penny on it, but he still wants access.
Yeah.
So that's it. You have to read it. I guess maybe then you would have more of an opinion. Because I gave you the shorter Cliff Notes version because I know you're ready to go. But hey, shout out to the chat and everybody. Punny, real MVP. There before
Shout
we
out to
are.
San Francisco for hosting us this week.
Shout out to Oakland
Google
and the good smelling people there.
Yup,
You know,
Google
good
Paul.
show. It's always fun. Go Paul. The whole chat. You know, I can't. You know, I'm on my phone, so I can't really read the chat. So like, yeah.
G, Wilkin, Jeremy Merchant.
Jeremy Merchant came out.
Oh, Jeremy Merchant,
Always loyal. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Always loyal, bro.
Yeah.
Always. Remake Station 5. You pony make me sick. Who said that at the beginning?
Yeah, funny. I think he just jumped in and left. I don't think he.
That was at the very beginning. I scrolled all the way up. It was there.
And so yeah, so I got to call home. The kids are like messaging me on Google Meet, like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'll call you in a minute." And then it's 6:30 here right now, so I'm gonna go get something to eat. My final expense meal. So I gotta treat myself really good tonight. And then before it gets dark and the real freaks come out at night here. They try to pee on you or try to.
You scared? Don't be scared.
I ain't scared, man. I ain't no scared here. So, all right, chat box. Thank you very much for coming out, guys. Thank you again. Let's end this. And remember, get your Game Pass. Get it out there. It's the best value in gaming right now.
Yeah, 3 months free if you get that Rogue Ally, man, of that ultimate.
You got it.
There you go. Peace.
Got to put that video out, man, when you're in the streets. Peace.
In the street? Oh, yeah. Peace.